Welcome into the Sanders Sports Show for February 1st, 2013. It's Friday. It's Super Friday. I cannot wait for Sunday, the Super Bowl, the Ravens and the 49ers. I actually made my pick. Stay tuned for that. I know it's going to probably tick off a few of my listeners out there. I'm sorry. It'll make a lot of them happy, though, I'm sure. Also talk about the NBA here a little bit. Talk about the few notes in the MLB, and we're also going to end our AL West preview with the Rangers and how I think the division will shake out. But first, news broke last night. We might not only be getting a basketball team up here in Seattle, we might be getting a hockey team as well. Phoenix Suns are owned by the NHL after a bankruptcy. After the NHL basically bought the team, stated from bankruptcy a few years ago. There was a man, trying to get to his name here, I thought I wrote it down. Greg Jameson. He was actually former CEO of the San Jose Sharks, was throwing out an offer to buy the team. He had a deadline of last night at 11 p.m. That deadline was not made. Now, the NHL wants to do everything it can to keep this franchise in Phoenix. Very understandable. This team moved from Winnipeg back in the mid-90s. Winnipeg got the Thrashers back. Good for them. But Phoenix, you wouldn't think Phoenix would be a hockey town, but it is. I lived in Arizona 17 years, not necessarily Phoenix, but a lot of Coyotes fans down there, so they will fight for their team, much like the Sacramento's fighting for the Kings. But there's a couple potential buyers out there. I say potential, really potential. I mean, there's nothing even close to being finalized that could possibly move the team either up here to Seattle or to Quebec City and quite possibly get the Nordiques back, if anyone remembers the Quebec Nordiques or not. I don't even think Gary Bettman was the commissioner when the Quebec Nordiques were around. I just like saying Quebec Nordiques. That was such a unique name, the unique Nordiques. All right, enough on that tangent. But, they also want a second team in Toronto. I don't know why. I guess they figure if New York has two teams, why can't we? We're the New York of Canada pretty much, which they are. Lived there for 2 years, which is why I'm a Raptor fan as well. But Toronto's big enough to house two cities. Just put them out in Mississauga or in Oshawa. There's an arena out in Oshawa, not too far from Toronto. It's about a half hour on the train. I mean, it's possible they could go up there too. Seattle right now, though, has a little bit of an issue if they do want to get an NHL team up here. And that issue right now is the arena. Key Arena, if you've never been to Seattle, was the whole reason we lost the Sonics in the first place. It was too small. It wasn't up to date for an NBA team, much less an NHL team. It's going to be tiny. Will the NHL be satisfied selling less tickets for 2 years? Because Kings come up here, we get them, they play next year as the Sonics. Fine, that's all cool. Bring in a hockey team, though? That's stretching it right now, I think. We might need to wait till that arena is built before we can get a hockey team up here, which I think that would be the better idea. I would love to have hockey up here. I would support whatever team came up here. I don't care if it's the Coyotes. I don't care if it's the Blue Jackets. I don't care who it is. Get a team up here. I think there's a huge untapped fan base up here for hockey. I mean, we have the minor league Seattle Thunderbirds up here. They draw a decent crowd for all their games. Exciting times up here to be in Seattle. When news broke of that last night, I almost slept out of my skin, to be honest, because to have not only the NBA coming back to Seattle as early as next year, but now to have the NHL possibly coming in as well. Good time to be living in the Pacific Northwest out here near the Sound. Wasn't the only news from hockey last night. Go over some of the scores, and one that sticks out, which I'll get to right away. Shootouts are, a lot of people don't like shootouts in hockey. I'm on the opposite side. I love shootouts. I love the drama of it. I just love everything about the shootouts, and it's a perfect way to end a hockey game, I think. Last night, the Kings and the Predators went 8 rounds, which that rarely happens. Usually it's done after the first 3 or 4. Kings and Predators went to 8 rounds. Predators finally scored in the 8th round to take a 2-1 win over the Kings. Defending Stanley Cup champions are 2-2-2 this year, 6 points. Not off to a great start, but I can't say there's plenty of time left because it's a very shortened season. They're going to need to start stepping it up here. I mean, we only got a couple months in the season this year. I think the last game of the season is the end of April. So yeah, they're going to need to start getting things going. Team that does have things going, another team that won by shootout last night, the San Jose Sharks, they're 7-0-0. They're the only undefeated team left in the NHL. Beat the Oilers last night 3-2. Avalanche beat the Flames 6-3. Blues, who are just on fire, 6-1 after last night. They beat the Blue Jackets 4-1. Panthers beat the Jets 6-3. No, Mark Sanchez wasn't playing for those Jets. They wouldn't have scored if they did. Pittsburgh beat the Rangers 3-0. By the way, the Stanley Cup favorite New York Rangers 3-4 this year. Might want to reevaluate my picks for the Eastern Conference. Penguins goaltender Josh Foucault stopped 28 shots to get the shutout. Islanders beat the Devils in overtime 5-4. Maple Leafs over the Capitals 3-2, and Sabres beat the Bruins in a score fest 7-4. A lot of good games last night. Actually caught a little bit of the Blues game. Really good game last night in between the 2 basketball games that happened. Speaking of the NBA, I will get to there was only 2 games. They were both on TNT last night, as I said. A little bit of controversy in the second game, the Dallas Golden State game. Once again, referees blowing calls. This is becoming a problem. Dwayne Casey, Raptors coach, came out and said he knows he's going to be fined, which he was fined for the comments that he made. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. There was 2 that the NBA admitted they got wrong last week. I'm sure there's going to be at least 2 or 3 more this week that the NBA will come out and say, hey, that was wrong. Warriors ended up winning 197. Dallas could have very well won that game had the foul been called. They were only up by 1 at the time, the Warriors, 98-97. I believe it was Vince Carter went up for the shot, if I remember right. And basically got hacked. Almost similar situation to what happened to the Raptors the night before. And no foul. Nothing was called. Andrew Bogut, it did look like he got mostly ball. I've seen a lot worse get called for fouls, though. I've seen a lot cleaner blocks, I should say, get called for fouls than what Bogut did last night. I mean, they were within 1 point. They were down by quite a bit in the beginning. They were down by at least 10 to 15 points most of the first half. And then Dallas soared back, come within 1 with 43 seconds left. Only to have that happen, I would be pissed off too, just like Mark Cuban is. Can't blame him. Rick Carlisle, coach, also sticking up for his players, which they should in this situation. Screw the fines. There's a problem here, and it's becoming a bigger problem. It's almost like the replacement refs went to the NBA. I'm half expecting someone to call a false start on somebody in Dallas last night with the way that things were being called. I mean, it's just ridiculous. A couple other news and notes around the league before we get to the 2 scores last night and set up tonight's games. Lakers center Dwight Howard, after re-aggravating his shoulder on Wednesday's loss to the Suns, will not play tonight against the Timberwolves. I'm going to watch that game all the way through. That's going to be an interesting game because it's going to be interesting how the Lakers bounce back from that blown loss at the Suns. They should have beat Phoenix. They had them beat big time. They outplayed Phoenix for 3 quarters of the game. Fourth quarter, it seemed to be the Kobe show again. Matt Barnes will not be playing tonight against the Raptors. Suspended 1 game for striking Timberwolves center Greg Steensma in the neck. Sorry, not the back. In Wednesday's game. And this just in, Celtics rookie Jared Sullinger will undergo season-ending back surgery, according to Yahoo Sports. I said there were 2 games last night. Warriors did beat the Mavericks 100-96. OKC just demolished Memphis 106-89. That looks like, I know it's only the first game without Rudy Gay, but this could potentially be a bad turnaround for Memphis. I mean, that was just, they were just getting shellacked last night. It was almost embarrassing to watch Memphis struggle. I mean, pretty much anything that could have went wrong did. Even with Russell Westbrook throwing a little temper tantrum after a 5-second call, which is rarely called in the NBA anymore. I mean, even with that, which you would think there'd be dissension there because there was some miscommunication at some point, Thunder still blew out the Grizzlies by 17. Speaking of Rudy Gay, we will see him in action tonight. He makes his debut in the Raptors uniform as they take on the Celtics. Or sorry, not Celtics, the Clippers. 7 p.m. Eastern on TSN if you live up in Canada. I'm sure it's going to be on NBA League Pass as well. Other games tonight, Dallas is at Phoenix. Miami and Indiana. Orlando and Boston. Bulls and the Nets are playing tonight. By the way, that Heat Pacers game is the early game on ESPN, 7 p.m. Eastern. Bucks and the Knicks also play tonight. Kings and the Sixers. Cavs at the Pistons. Wizards at the Grizzlies. Hornets at the Nuggets. Trailblazers at the Jazz. And the late game on ESPN. Game 2 of their 7-game road trip, the LA Lakers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves are 11-8 at home, just throwing that out there. Without Kevin Love, though, might be a little bit more difficult. But with the Lakers without Howard, which means Gasol's going to start probably at center, it's just going to be interesting how they can move forward with this. We'll definitely be talking about that on Monday when we come back. But first, before we get to Monday's show, we got to talk about a game that's being played Sunday, the Super Bowl. Ravens 49ers. My last piece today, we talk about the 49ers defense and how they will help, or how they could help, the 49ers win. This is the Sanders Sports Show on Spreaker.com. Welcome back into the Sanders Sports Show here on Spreaker.com. By the way, you can reach the Sanders Sports Show on Facebook, facebook.com/Sanders Sports Show. Right here on Spreaker.com, leave me a message. I will get back to you. Also on Twitter, @SandersD84. Leave me a message. I will respond. And also, we are on iTunes. Just search Sanders Sports Show. Turning over to the big game at the end, as the XFL used to call it, the Super Bowl. There's only one more facet of these teams that I have yet to talk about, and that's the 49ers defense. Basically, the 49ers defense just needs to contain Ray Rice. I mean, if they can get to Flacco a couple times, shake up his confidence a little bit, that will definitely help. The Smiths need to get up there, though, stuff that hole, make sure Ray Rice does not get through. We all saw what he did to the Chargers. 4th and 29. Ray Rice is a given as a weapon. Of course, Anquan Bolden, also a given as a weapon. You're going to have to cover him probably with about 2 or 3 guys, to be honest. 49ers need to think about doing maybe rushing 3 to 4. I think blitzing will be the end of the 49ers if they continuously blitz. Because Flacco can get that ball out quicker than almost anybody else in the league right now. One other thing the Niners need to do, they need to stop this Ravens team. They get a lot of 3-and-outs. Make sure that their scores, the 49ers offense, when they score, make sure the Ravens get nowhere near it, not even a field goal. I'll explain that here more in a minute. But Justin Smith, Aldon Smith, they play the most important role. They're in the front line there, defensive line. They need to stop Ray Rice. They need to get access to Flacco when he's passing. Take out whatever you can. Ravens have a lot of weapons. I mentioned that on Tuesday. We all know about the big weapons, Anquan, Ray Rice, Joe Flacco. The unsung hero, I think, which he's been used quite a bit in the playoffs, but I think he'll be even bigger factor on Sunday, is Torrey Smith. 49ers need to stop them. Because like I said, you don't want your defense to not be able to stop the Ravens, because you don't want to be out in the field with 10 seconds left on the clock, or in the 49ers case, in the Falcons case, 13 seconds left on the clock. You don't want to be out fourth quarter, 4 seconds left, down by 1, and have David Akers decide your fate. I've struggled endlessly this week to pick a team, because these are two, while they are complete polar opposites of each other, they both have all the talent in the world to win this game on Sunday. And it will be a very close game. Final score I'm giving you is 21-20. And the way that the team that I picked is going to win is going to be off a missed field goal with 4 seconds left by David Akers. I'm picking the Ravens 21-20 over the 49ers. Joe Flacco still won't throw a pick. He will be the Super Bowl MVP. 1-point victory for the Ravens. That is my prediction. It can't happen any other way, in my opinion. Thinking about it, Ray Lewis's last year. Ed Reed's possibly last year in Baltimore. He might be moving on, possibly to New England. Teams going to be breaking up after this year, for the most part, as far as defense. They'll still have Terrell Suggs and Nagata, a lot of key players, but their leader will be gone. Excuse me. Their leader will be gone, and new leader will have to emerge. That new leader, of course, will probably be Terrell Suggs. He has a lot of the same type of intensity tendencies that Ray Lewis did. I think he'll be able to lead that defense to another title next year, as far as AFC North titles. But to have Ray Lewis get this win, you know he's going to be jacking that defense up in pregame. See that dance one more time and have it mean something. This Ravens team has too much to lose. They have too much pressure on them not to win. Final score, 21-20. Baltimore Ravens over the San Francisco 49ers. David Akers pulls a Scott Norwood. Wide left. That is my prediction. My wife is a 49ers fan. When I told her that no more than an hour ago. Actually, that's when I told her it was about an hour ago. That's why I made my decision. I'm going to be sleeping on the couch for the next 2 days. I'm sorry. Believe me, I'm sorry. Part of me wanted to pick the 49ers. They did. Colin Kaepernick is just amazing. That receiving core, nearly unstoppable. It won't be the highest scoring game, but it won't be a 7-6 game either. Defense is going to play a huge role this year. One team's defense will step up a little bit more than the others. Now be the Baltimore Ravens, led by Ray Lewis. It's going to be a quick show today. Going to take one more break here. Coming up after the break, couple of Major League Baseball news and notes, and then we're going to get into the Rangers preview. And then we'll send you on your way for the day here on the Sanders Sports Show right here on Spreaker.com. Welcome back into the Sanders Sports Show. Hey, if I have to listen to that song every time I go to a Mariners game, you guys can stick it out for just 30 days. You're going to be so tired of John Fogerty by the end of next week, I swear to God. This is the Sanders Sports Show. I'm Dave Sanders right here on Spreaker.com. I want to take the time out here really quickly to thank you for making this show a part of your day, however you're listening to it, either right now live or later on today or this weekend on Spreaker.com, Facebook, or on iTunes. Shoot me a message. I want to talk to some people. I haven't talked to anybody really yet. Maybe 2 people have messaged me. Get the show out to your friends too. Any sports fans you know, let them hear the show. I want to hear what their thoughts are too. We're going to turn over to the MLB. We'll do the Texas Rangers preview here in a few moments. But first, a couple news and notes from Major League Baseball. Actually, this just in. Yankees agree with DH first baseman Travis Hafner. Played in 66 games for the Indians last year on a 1-year, $2 million deal. Martin Prado, who went to the Diamondbacks in that Justin Upton trade, signs a 4-year, $40 million extension with the Diamondbacks. And you know I have to talk about it. It's A-Rod. New reports out suggesting that the doctor himself, Anthony Bosch, actually was the one who injected Alex Rodriguez himself with performance-enhancing drugs, which I'm sure A-Rod will come out and say that never happened. Didn't have a question for this weekend. I think we've already asked the A-Rod question. What would you do with him if he was on your team? I'm going to recycle that question because I want to know what you guys think. If you had Alex Rodriguez on your team right now with this second scandal looming over his head, also on his second hip surgery, major hip surgery, by the way. He has 5 years, 100 and I believe 11 million left on his contract. See if I can get that number again. I know he has 5 years left on his contract. He has a lot of money still owed to him. What would you do with this man? He's going to be out until at least the All-Star break, if not longer, due to the injury. After he comes back from the injury, if Major League Baseball decides to suspend him, he's out at least 50 more games right there. What would you do with this guy? Leave me a message, of course, on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Sanders Sports Show, right here on Spreaker.com, or on Twitter at SandersD84. Leave me a message. What would you do with Alex Rodriguez? I will respond to every one of you who send me a message. All right, now we're going to move on to the last portion of the AL West preview. The team I despise the most out of the AL West, to be honest. Hey, you want honesty in radio? I'm going to give it to you. I despise the Texas Rangers. I hate them. I hate them with everything that I am. I'm an Angels fan, so of course they're a big rival of ours. Never did like the Rangers as a team. They actually ended our run last year, beating us a couple times. Finished 93-69 last night, second in the AL. Made it in as a wild card. Played against the Orioles, lost to the Orioles. They've lost some key players. 2 big ones, to be specific. Josh Hamilton, who signed with the LA Angels of Anaheim. Yeah, we got Josh Hamilton. Second year in a row, we got the best bat on the free agent market. Be jealous. Yeah, I said it. Be jealous. Rangers also lost Michael Young in a surprise trade in the offseason to the Phillies. Got a couple pitchers for him. really a couple minor league pitchers for him. So what does that leave? Leaves Nelson Cruz, David Murphy, Ian Kinsler, Elvis Andrus, Adrian Beltre, who's kind of fallen off, Mitch Moreland. They signed A.J. Przinsky. He's looking to be their starting catcher for most of the starts. Giovanni Soto is their backup. They have Lance Berkman, who's probably going to be their DH. The starting rotation, outside of Holland and Darvish, kind of like the Mariners that I mentioned yesterday, not the best. Harrison's not bad. Harrison's going to be probably about a 12 to 15 game winner, at least, if not more. But they're 4-5s. Alexei Ogando and Martin Perez, those are the two that are projected as of right now. Not much experience there. Looking at Ogando right now, he went 2-0 last year, 3.27 ERA. And he only started one game. He was mainly a reliever. Martin Perez played in 12 games, started 6 of them, went 1-4 with a 5.45 ERA. He's going to be in that anchor spot, the 5 spot. I see those 2 spots getting cycled in and out between a couple of the minor league guys. But all in all, I think the loss of Hamilton and the loss of a leader for this team. Michael Young has been there for almost, I think, over a decade. He was pretty much the captain of this team, and now he's gone. I mean, that's going to hurt them a lot. Can the Rangers come back and bounce back from losing one of their biggest bats and their leader? You know what? I don't think so. Rangers were first in runs last year with 806. They won't be this year. This year I have the Rangers going 87-76, finishing 3rd in the West, behind the A's and the Angels, not respectively. So here's how I have the AL West shaping out. Angels winning the West, 99-63. A's right behind them, 90-72. Rangers 3rd, 87-76. Mariners, they're getting there. They're getting close to 500. They still won't break it, 78-84. And the Astros, like I said on Monday, I can't give them 50 games. 48-114. That's what I think they're going to do. Astros need a lot of work. Mariners are almost there. They need some work. Rangers need a couple more key pitchers, maybe. Maybe one more big bat. A's are just money ball. Who knows what they need? They'll make anything work. The scariest lineup in the West is obviously the Angels, with their 1-3-4 Trout, Pujols, Hamilton, as well as the other key players there, Kendrick, Izturis, Kai Osmo, if he ever gets his passport, visa status, whatever it was that he had a problem with. As long as he gets that part taken care of. And we still got Vernon Wells to back up. We got Borges, who's a speed demon, along with Trout. Got Iannetta, decent catcher. Got Conger to back him up. Angels are scary. And they're scary because they also have extra weapons that they could just trade for something else. But, as proven last year, you don't need all that to win. That's why I'm still scared to death as an Angels fan of the Oakland A's. If anyone gives the Angels a run for their money for the West this year, it will be the A's again. I don't see the Rangers. I see them falling off. I see the Mariners improving, but not that much. And the Astros are the Astros. Like I said, it's going to be a short day today. Yeah, I want to thank you all for joining me this week. If you've listened to me at all, either live or on the recording on Facebook, Spreaker, or iTunes, spread the word. I'm once again, I'm doing this for school, practice for school, because I'm going to school for the Academy of Radio and TV Broadcasting out of Huntington Beach, California. Hi, guys. I want to take a minute and thank one of the students there, because they actually seeing him doing a podcast on this website, Spreaker.com, actually gave me the opportunity to do it too, because I didn't know of the site until him. So thank you, Joe, for turning me onto the site. It's a wonderful place. I cannot believe I found it. It's so easy to use, so streamlined. I couldn't ask for anything better than this, to be honest with you. I do want to let you know here in about 4 weeks, I am taking a week off. I know I just started this. I'm taking a week off already. Now I gotta go see some family down in Arizona, so I'm taking the week off. Go spend some time with them. I will be back the following week, because that should be the final week of my 30 days, 30-team MLB preview. It'll end with the NL West. It'll just be a week later than it would have been scheduled for. So keep your calendars open for that. I know there's a few people out there that are Giants fans that I know listen to the show, so that'll just be a week later. It'll be pretty much in the third week of spring training that I'll get to them. Next week, speaking of that 30 and 30, the AL Central's on deck. Got the White Sox on Monday, Indians on Tuesday, Tigers on Wednesday, Royals on Thursday, and Twins on Friday. Next week, the AL Central. Following week after that will be the AL East. Also next Monday, of course, we got to recap that game on Sunday. Let you know how right I was going to be. David Akers missing a field goal. That's how it will end. Also, we'll go over the weekend in the NBA, the NHL, and more right here on the Sanders Sports Show. I mentioned my buddy Joe 5 o'clock Summary. You can catch him and his partner, Anthony Perry, over on Finalize This every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, right here on Spreaker.com. Go look up their channel. Go subscribe. Go like their Facebook page, Facebook.com/FanalyzeThis. Also, if you're a bowling fan, BowlingEvolved.com has everything you need for the casual fan, up to the hardcore pro. Get all the tips and tricks you need to get your game to be better. Also, keep up to date with the PBA Tour, with teams that are managed by the likes of Terrell Owens, Chris Paul, and more. BowlingEvolved.com has everything you need. Once again, from the casual beginner to the hardcore pro, that's BowlingEvolved.com. I just want to thank you all once again for joining me today, making me a part of your day. Without you, I wouldn't be doing this, so thank you. I hope everybody has a wonderful and safe weekend. Don't go too crazy on Sunday. Enjoy the game, enjoy each other, and as always, be good humans. Have a great day. Bye-bye.